How much money have you invested in your own growth? How much time have you invested in personal development? Probably a lot, right? I would guess. A lot of money, a lot of time. For a time, you would have had one person as your quote guru, somebody that you followed. Maybe it was Tony Robbins, maybe it was someone else, maybe it was Dov Baron, who were your great personal development teacher, the person that you were listening to the most. And you probably got some really good insights from that. So why am I saying that it's a complete waste of time? A few minutes ago, I was showing you the scenery. We'll do it again just so you can see what I'm talking about. Right there out in front of me is the seawall and the water with all the beautiful boats. Now, let me ask you a question. As you see all that, as you see that scenery, you may feel the desire to live right here, right by the water. If not by the water here, but somewhere by the water. You may really appreciate the beauty of this scenery. And as much as you watch this video, as much as I can describe this spectacular scenery to you and show you all the beautiful colors of it and describe the sounds and the smells of this environment, and let's pretend that I can do that so vividly that it creates almost a three-dimensional picture in your mind. I mean, this is pretty beautiful, right? No matter how much I describe it, no matter how much detail I give you about it, no matter how much you watch the movie of it, are you ever going to get wet watching this video? Is watching this video going to get you wet in the way it would if you were to jump in that water over there? Of course not. Listening to me, watching the view is not going to get you wet. And this is exactly the same as the view of personal development. It's when I see people taking personal development programs, taking the trainings, for me it's like you're collecting pictures of the ocean. All those beautiful sunrises and sunsets, maybe even little videos, maybe videos I sent from tropical places of the ocean crashing in on the beach. And you've collected all those amazing images, and every morning you get up and you appreciate how beautiful those images are. And they're beautiful. But you never get wet. Personal growth, personal development can be very much that way, in that it's simply a collection of things that are not applicable to your life. They're not the experience of. So until you are in the experience of something, it's not real. It's just not real. So no matter how much training you get, no matter how many personal development programs you take, until you put it in practice, it's a complete, total waste of time. No matter what it is. Doesn't matter how good the program is. Now you go, but oh, Dov, listen, I went to the program. I walked on fire. I broke arrows with my throat. I laid on a bed of nails. I walked on broken glass. I split rocks with my head. I mean, you know, whatever it is that you did. Okay, great. You got wet. But do you go swimming regularly in that pool of your own personal growth, of that pool of your own personal development? Or is it something you can now talk about, that you can brag about, like it's some kind of badge of honor? Because listen, personal development, personal growth is an experience, not that you have, it's an experience that you live. It's a choice you make every single day to live in that growth, in that development. And here's the news, everything around you, your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, your friends, your family, everybody is trying to pull you out of the freaking water. Because they're not in the water, and it's weird that you're in the water and they don't understand that you even want to get wet in this pool called, or in this ocean called, personal growth and personal development. And so if you're not in that water constantly, there is always hands, there is always those pulling you out. And before you know it, you'll be out, you'll be bone dry, and you might have even forgotten what it's like to be wet. And there you go. Oh, guess what? I need to go to another seminar, another personal growth program. And so off you go, and you get to another one, and you dive in, and oh my goodness, I can't believe that I left this so long. I can't believe I was so long out of this ocean of personal growth, of personal development, of enlightenment. And I've been out of it so long, and oh, I'm never gonna, this is it. I'm not getting out of this water again. I am staying in this. It is beautiful. It nurtures me. It takes care of my soul. This is the ocean of love that I want to swim in. My personal growth, my personal development, and you swim in it. And then the end of the 5 days, 4 days, 3 days, 1 day program, 2 week program, whatever it is, happens. And what happens after that? I'll tell you what happens after that. Monday. That's what happens. Monday. You go back to work. You go back to your family. You go back to the kids. You go back to your responsibilities. You go back to all the stuff. And even though you promised this time it would be different, it isn't. And what's happened is you've just spent several $1,000s, a good chunk of time away from your family, your children, your business, whatever it is, to get this suntan effect of personal growth and personal development, rather than real personal growth and personal development. So here's the deal. I was down here, I think last Sunday, and I was watching these people doing something that I think is pretty incredible. They were doing the Ironman contest. You know the Ironman contest where you cycle for this length, like massive amount of space, time, distance, and then you run for it, I think it's the equivalent distance, and then you swim the equivalent distance. It's not a short swim, it's a long swim. Swimming in personal growth, in personal development, is a marathon. It is not something you casually do. It's a marathon experience. It's something you've got to keep doing over and over and over again. And sure, you can rest on the rocks occasionally and you can take in the view. But this is a lifestyle, folks. This is not something you do on a weekend, or a couple of weekends, or you fly to the south of France or Colorado or the Himalayas or whatever the frick it is, or Vancouver, and suddenly you're enlightened. It doesn't work like that. It's a complete waste of time if that's what you're doing. And what you get to do if that's the case is you get to come away and brag. And you've heard me say this 1,000 times, and I'm going to keep saying it. Everything you learn, your ego learns. So your ego then accumulates everything you learned over that weekend, over that week, over that training, and then uses it as a badge of honor to show how much better then, and compare yourself to the other people around you and look at them like they're idiots, and that make them feel small because they don't know, through your spiritual snobbery. And this is one of the things that's so annoying about the whole thing with personal growth, is that people who develop what I call spiritual snobbery. Well, you know, you just don't understand because you didn't take Dov Baron's program. You see, I took Deep. I worked with Dov for 10 years. Oh, you don't understand. I've been through Tony's Life Mastery. I've been through Tony's whatever program. You don't understand. I took Millionaire Mind. You don't understand that I'm part of this program or that program, and you develop this whole freaking language around the stuff, and you start spouting it like it's a secret language that elevates you and makes you better than anybody else around you because you were part of that program, or you've been a part of that program, or maybe you've even become a coach of that program. But tell it, listen, just because you know the language doesn't mean you're living it. I'm fascinated by how many people I met do meet regularly, who've been doing personal growth, personal development for 10, 20 years and still haven't got a freaking clue because they're so busy judging everybody else. They're so busy comparing themselves to everybody else. They're so busy being spiritual snobs instead of understanding that everybody's on their own journey. Everybody's on their own journey. So the reason I said kill off your guru is because here's the deal. If you've got one, if you've got some guru, and maybe it's a whole training program like Landmark, maybe it's Tony Robbins programs, maybe it was my programs. If you've got those things going on for you, you've developed a language that excludes others. And it's a way to not connect. It's a way to be distant, not a way to find commonality. And yeah, some people will really get on your tits because they're thick. And sometimes you wish they could see, but they won't. So what? So what? You're not better than anybody else. I've met so many people who think they're so much better than everybody else because they've taken that program or this program. It's not true. Some of the most enlightened people I've met have never taken a frickin' program in their lives. About 20 years ago, I bumped into this woman, amazing woman. She had been brought up in a very strong Christian background. Father was a minister, mother and father were missionaries. She'd never done any personal growth. She never even heard of Tony Robbins, or certainly not Dov Baron, that's for sure. She'd never done any of that work. And the insights this woman had, the clarity this woman had. Why? Because she followed the thing that I say at the end of every broadcast. She stayed curious. She didn't even accept her own religion, the one she was brought up in. She constantly questioned it. She constantly questioned that. She constantly questioned everything about her own beliefs. And it was that questioning, it was that willing to be curious that developed that truly spiritual place within her, that truly personal developed place in her, in which meant that she was willing to constantly evolve. If your guru tells you they're a guru, run the other way. If the person you're working with tells you they got all the answers, run the other way. If the person in front of you tells you they've mastered their ego, run not the other way. Run as fast as you possibly fucking can. Because here's the deal. If you've got skin and you're breathing, you've got an ego. Everybody's got an ego. I traveled the world to study with all these great teachers, and I met some amazing people, masters from India and Asia and all different countries. And I met all kinds of people who I originally thought had lost their ego, who proclaimed, some of whom proclaimed they'd lost their ego, and every single one of them had a good old healthy strong ego. Some very strong egos, and some people's ego is their spirituality. So spirituality, personal growth, personal development, all of those things, complete, total waste of time if you're using them on others. Let me sum it all up for you. Personal growth, personal development are tools for you to use on you. They are not weapons for you to be a tool and use them on others. Personal development, personal growth is for you. If you're doing it for you, not for bragging rights, if you're doing it for you, not to claim you're better than, then you know what it's about, then it's good. You're not better than anybody else, you're just on your journey. Remember, tools for you, not weapons for you to become a tool with. So until next time, this is Dov Baron of Full Monty Leadership, suggesting that you stay curious about how you're playing the game of spiritual snobbery while telling yourself that you're personally developed, that you're growth, that you're in this growth process. You're no better than anybody else, neither am I. We're all just on a journey. Until next time, Dov Baron, FullMontyLeadership.com. Stay curious about how you're connected to everybody else and how everybody's as good as you. If you got value out of this broadcast, please share it with others, let them know about it, and please leave me your comments and your feedback below. You may disagree, you may agree with what I said. Not everybody agrees with me. That's okay. You know why? I'm not a guru, never have been, never will be. Not interested in being one. Not better than you, just somebody who's been on the planet for as long as I have, been on my journey as long as I have, gained a couple of things along the way, and that's about it. There's things that you're way better at than me. This is just happens to be my thing. Till next time, Dov Baron, Full Monty Leadership. See ya.